Welcome to the course Overview of SolidWorks presented by LearnCX. In this course, we will first see the overview of what we are going to learn from this course. The first one is CAD software overview, then application of CAD, then the list of CAD softwares available in market, SolidWorks terminology. Specifically, we will be studying feature-based modeling, history-based modeling, parametric modeling, associativity, and summary of them. SolidWorks interface will be later studied in this course. So going towards CAD software overview, let us first see what the terminology CAD actually means. You must have come across this term in your engineering life. Hence the definition of CAD, which stands for Computer Aided Design, also known as Computer Aided Drafting or Computer Aided Design and Drafting, will be well understood by you. What it actually means is,
in earlier days, humans used to generate mechanical drawings and designs on sheets with the help of pen and pencil.
nowadays humans do the same with the help of computer for carrying out those operations. Hence the term got its name, Computer Aided Design. So moving ahead, let us now see which sections of the manufacturing process falls under this term. So starting with creation of a design, modification of that design, analysis and optimization of that particular design, these all processes actually fall under the term called CAD. Next is computer aided drafting, is the process of creating a drawing, that is a technical drawing, with the help of computer softwares. You must be familiar like AutoCAD and all. So these softwares are usually used for creating 2D drawings. Next we'll see some applications of CAD. So the first field of application for CAD is graphics, needless to say generating drawings, also surface and solid modeling. So this was the one part of CAD softwares. Next is design. So using CAD softwares, one can easily find out the weight of the object that has been created, and many more such kind of calculations can also be done by these softwares. One good example is interface analysis, then comes mechanism analysis and also animations. Then comes manufacturing. Many interesting operations fall under this, like tool path generation and verification, the process planning, then tolerances and surface finishings and all. And the last one is component assembly. So you can actually plan the assembly parts one by one, how it is going to be fitted into the complete assembly. And also robotics, vision algorithms, dynamics driven by solid models. These all processes actually come under the application of CAD. Now we'll see some CAD softwares. You must be aware of AutoCAD, Pro-E, that is Pro Engineer. Then comes CATIA, SolidWorks, which we are actually learning in this course. Then Solid Edge, also from the same manufacturer of SolidWorks, and Unigraphics. We do have much more softwares available in the market worldwide, but these few softwares are actually the world leaders in CAD softwares. So every single software is specialized in some or the other operation, which we saw in the last slide. Like for example, AutoCAD is specialized in generating 2D drawings. Now they have also come into 3D domain. Then Pro Engineer is good in solid modeling. Even SolidWorks is well known for the same purpose. CATIA is very good in surface modeling. Even Unigraphics for solid modeling. Now let's understand some SolidWorks terminology. SolidWorks is a feature-based, history-based, associative, parametric 3D CAD program. That seems like many words, but they are all having a specific meaning. In SolidWorks, you build 3D parts from a series of simple 2D sketches and features such as extrude, revolve, fillet, holes, and others. You can also create 2D drawings from the 3D parts, that is vice versa of what we learned in the previous point. So these are the terms that come under SolidWorks, that are feature-based modeling, history-based modeling, parametric modeling, and associativity. We will now see feature-based modeling in details. First of all, you need to be familiar with some terminologies before diving into building models with SolidWorks. Notice that I talk about modeling rather than drawing or even design. This is because SolidWorks is virtual prototyping software. Whether you are building an assembly line for automotive parts or designing decorative perfume bottles, SolidWorks can help you visualize your geometrical production data in the most realistic way possible without actually having it in your hand. This is more akin to making a physical model in the shop than drawing on paper. Feature-based modeling means that you build the model by incrementally identifying functional shapes and applying processes to create the shapes. For example, you can create a simple box by using the extrude process, and you can create a sphere by using the revolve process. However, you can make a cylinder using either process by revolving a rectangle like this or extruding a circle like this. You start by visualizing the 3D shape and then apply a 3D process to a 2D sketch to create that shape. This concept on its own is half of what you need to know to create models with SolidWorks. Many different feature types in SolidWorks enable you to create everything from the simplest geometry shown in the above figure to more complex artistic or organic shapes. In general, when I talk about modeling, I am talking about solid modeling, although SolidWorks also has a complete set of surfacing tools. We'll get to know the difference between solid and surface modeling in the later lectures. So the figure shows images of simple feature types along with 2D sketches from which they were created. We will now find out what sort of features SolidWorks actually support. So we'll see the list of most common features that you will find in SolidWorks. So they are classified into 3 types. The first one actually requires a sketch from which it can start working. The middle one is of sketch optional. On the right side you have the features for which no sketch is required. So starting from the left, for the sketch required table, under sketch required you will find extrude, revolve, rib, hole, wrap as the most important features that you will be using in SolidWorks. Under optional sketch you will find loft, sweep, dome, wizard, deform. Then in no sketch there are fillets, chamfers, draft, boundary shell, flex, and so on. So the right side part will actually require no sketch, but they will require a solid model on which they can work. Moving ahead to history based modeling. Now we'll understand what history based modeling actually means. History based modelers require the CAD user to define parameters and constraints when designing a part. The parameters provide relationships to other features in the 3D part, and constraints allow that part to be constructed ambiguously. These parameters, features, and constraints are stored in the order they were built in a place called the history tree and must be accessed through that tree for changing purposes. So to summarize it, we can say that in addition to being feature based, SolidWorks is also history based. To show the process history, there is a panel to the left side of the SolidWorks window called the Feature Manager. This Feature Manager keeps a list of features in the order in which you have added them. It also enables you to reorder items in the tree. Because of this, the order in which you perform operations is very important. Now let us see an example. This model was created by the following process from left to right, starting with the top row. So first a sketch was created, dimensions were given to that sketch, then the sketch was extruded by some thickness, so we got a solid block. On the top surface of that block, another sketch was created, again dimensions to that sketch was given. Here you can see the only dimension given to this sketch is the length of the straight line and not the radius of this curve, because this curve is already related to the block, hence the diameter of this curve will be the length of this line. And this sketch was again extruded here. Then a third sketch was drawn on the top surface of this sketch and a thorough hole was created using this sketch. So this is one of the basic examples what you can get for feature plus history based modeling in SolidWorks. Let us now understand what parametric modeling means. But before going into that, let us first see the history of CAD softwares. Like over its first 20 years, CAD was used to automate hand drafting, the creation of 2D drawings such as plans, sections and elevations. Such drawings consisted of lines and shapes without any intelligence about what the lines and shapes represented. Now parametric models permit the relationship between elements and operations. When a variable is changed, its effect is seen on related entities. That is, in a parametric model, each entity such as a line or arc in a wireframe or a filleting operation has parameters associated with it. These parameters control the various geometric properties of that entity, such as length, width and height of a rectangular prism or the radius of a fillet. They also control the locations of these entities within the model. These parameters can be changed by the operator as necessary to create the desired part. Parametric modelers that use a history-based method keep a record of how the model was built. When the operator changes parameters in the model and regenerates the part, the program repeats the operation from the history, using the new parameters to create the new solid. There are many uses for this type of modeling. Designers can test various sizes of parts to determine which is the best part for the use by simply adjusting the model parameters and regenerating the part. So this was a brief understanding of what parametric modeling means. Certain parametric modelers also allow constraint equations to be added to the models. These can be used to construct relationships between parameters. If several parameters always require the same value or a certain parameter depends on the value of several others, this is the best way to ensure that these relationships are always correct. Now talking about associativity. In SolidWorks, associativity refers to the links between documents, such as a part that has an associative link to a drawing. If the part changes, the drawing updates as well. Bidirectional associativity means that the part can be changed from the part or the drawing document window. One of the implications of this is that you do not edit a SolidWorks drawing by simply moving lines on a drawing. You must change the model, which causes all drawing views of the part or assembly to update correctly. One of the most important aspects of associativity is file management. Associated files stay connected by file names. If a document name is changed and one of the associated files is not updated appropriately, the association between the files can become broken. Now before proceeding ahead, let us now summarize what all we have studied. Product development is not just about designing, it is more about changes that you do while designing. Let's say like you design something once, but you may modify it endlessly. That's why we say a design process is a very iterative process. Hence we have SolidWorks, which is about designing, but it really enables changes. You can think SolidWorks as a virtual prototyping software that enables you to change your prototype rather than creating new models again and again. We understand that virtual prototypes will never completely replace physical models, but they may reduce your dependency on them to some extent. Like say you have 10 designs in your mind, you model all of them in SolidWorks, then go for assembly, then you can come out with some understanding that which designs will actually be feasible during manufacturing and during its use. Hence you will shortlist 2 to 3 designs out of 10 to create physical models, and based on them you will finalize your design for manufacturing. That's how CAD softwares like SolidWorks play a very important role in saving your time, your resource and your efforts. Now let us focus on the user interface of SolidWorks. So first of all, we'll understand what user interface actually means. It is the visual part of computer application or an operating system through which a user interacts with the computer or a software. It basically plays the role of a junction between a user and a computer program. Now an interface is a set of commands or menu through which a user communicates with a program. A command-driven interface is one in which you enter commands. A menu-driven interface is one in which you select command choices from various menus displayed on the screen. GUI, that is graphical user interface, is one in which user gives commands by selecting and clicking on icons displayed on the screen. Now let's continue with SolidWorks user interface. The objective of this lecture is to make students friendly with number of tools available and layouts of these tools in interface. SolidWorks interface has mainly toolbar, graphics window, command manager, feature manager and design tree, property manager, then comes heads up display, the task pane and the status bar. When you start SolidWorks, the default window that appears on screen is something like this. It contains a menu bar, that is a pull down menu, then a quick start button, which are actually shortcuts to the options available inside the menu bar. You can customize this quick start button as per your requirement. Now let's begin by creating a new document. In order to do that, you can press the new file icon or else go to file menu and select new. You can even press Ctrl+N through keyboard. The new SolidWorks document window opens. Here we have options to create part document. Here we have options to create part documents, assembly document and drawing document. There is an advanced button at the bottom. In advanced page, templates and tutorial tabs are present. We'll understand about them later, but now coming back to the novice page, usually to begin with you will start with part file only, so you can go ahead by pressing OK and begin working on your model. Now let's understand some parts of your working window. In the center of the toolbar, you can see the name of the document. As we have not yet saved the document, SolidWorks has assigned the default name. It is a good practice to save the document before starting work. To save this document, you can follow the same procedure of clicking the save button from the quick launch bar, or else going to file and save, or else even you can press Ctrl+S. Then you will get a regular save as window where you can give the directory and save the document with the name. Later you can see the name of the document at the center of the toolbar. If you pull cursor over it, a collar appears showing path of the directory. To the right of it is the SolidWorks search box. By default, it is set to search for help. You can also search for knowledge base, community forums, and files and models on your computer. Now moving ahead to the graphics window. The middle of the screen is called as graphics window. This is where most of the action happens in SolidWorks, and this is where we work on parts, assemblies and drawings. At the top middle of the graphics window, you will find heads-up display with several useful buttons. First one is zoom to fit. During working, if you lose the part out of the graphics window, you can get it back by clicking on this option. Right of that button is zoom to area button. It zooms into the area you select with a bounding box. The next button is for previous view. It restores the view to the previous one. You can go back to the previous view by clicking on this button. Right of that button is the section view. If you want to see the section of the part or the assembly, this option will help you in doing so. Next is the view orientation. It orients the part in some standard views like front, top, right, left, bottom and back. If you want to see the front view of the part, just click on front. It rotates and zooms the model in front view orientation. Next to them are the options for display viewports. By these options, you can change display viewport with single view or 2 view horizontal or 2 view vertical or 4 views. It's basically like dividing the graphics window into 2 windows or 4 windows and so on. Right to that is the display style icon and other appearance settings. Next is the command manager. It has a ribbon type of interface which holds most of the tools required in your operations. By default, there are several tabs already provided for you. You can even insert more tabs by just right clicking on this interface. For example, if you have to work with lots of surface features or sheet metal features, you can just right click on command manager and add surface tab or sheet metal tab to include it or else remove it, vice versa. Now let's talk about one of the most important part of SolidWorks, the feature manager design tree. So at the left bottom of command manager, feature manager design tree is present. At the top of the feature design tree, you will have a part name, below which you can see different items. There you will find an option for specifying the part material. From here you can specify the material. Below it you have front, top and right planes. Those are the 3 Cartesian planes. Then you have the origin. Below that begins the feature history of the part. It actually contains the historical steps that was used one after the another to create the part. And because of this, sometimes feature design tree is also called as feature history tree. And you can also see the plus sign next to the boss extrude. What that actually hold is the sketch that was used to create feature. Next is fillet feature. So let us understand the historical processes that was used to create this part. First of all, you see the boss extrude operation. This operation has a plus sign on the left hand side. This means that it contains something inside this, and it's obvious that it will be holding the sketch that was used to do this extrusion operation. The bottom rectangular block was created using this operation. Next one is fillet. Now that the fillet is not holding any entities inside it, this is because the fillet is directly applied to the extruded block. This is used to create the filleting shape at the front side of the rectangular block. The next operation is cut extrude operation. It is holding a sketch inside it, and this sketch is of the circle from which the hole was generated. And the last one is the standard 3x8 flathead machine screw shape operation carried out on the hole for widening the hole at the top section to accommodate the screw head. So this is the path that was used to generate this part. Hence you can change your design at any point of time by just changing the history of the part generated by you. Now there are also several tabs next to the feature manager design tree, like property manager, configuration manager, dim export manager and display manager. These are other operations that can be reached from this part of the screen. Now you can expand display pane window by clicking on double arrow symbol. Here we have options for hide, show part, change appearance and transparency of part. Thank you for attending the first lecture of this course.